Get full access to over 20,000 episodes with your free trial. MyOutdoorTV. Sign up today.
Well, I'm getting pretty excited to head out on this bear hunt. A lot of people ask me why I hunt bears, because for some people it feels kind of strange. They're such a charismatic and really sacred animal. But we use every part of the bear, the fat, the meat, the hide, we even keep their skulls. And we live in a place where bears are past their social carrying capacity, so the states are actually really encouraging bear hunters to take more bears. So partially we're hunting for conservation, we're definitely hunting for meat, and one of the really great things is we're going to end up with all that bear fat, which is one of the most amazing products that we get off our landscape.
I'm Daniel Vitalis, a modern-day hunter-gatherer. I didn't grow up hunting, fishing, or foraging. My passion for wild food led me to learn as an adult. Join me as we hunt, fish, forage, and cook incredible meals to share with friends and family. This is WildFed. Before our upcoming bear hunt, we're headed out to harvest some of Maine's wild rice. My friend Arthur Haynes has been taking us ricing for many years.
Should be pretty good harvesting today.
Yeah?
Yeah, the grains are definitely dropping.
Arthur is my foraging mentor, and his passion for wild food is informed by his work as one of the leading botanists of the Northeast. Today, he and I will be poling the boats through the rice, but it's my fiance Avani and his wife Sarah that'll do the actual harvesting. Avani and I are foraging companions. She's a former competitive whitewater kayaker, but today she's putting down the paddle to focus on the harvest. Sarah and Arthur work together foraging all year and teaching these skills to others. While it's possible to do this on your own, having a ricing partner really helps, since you have one person to pull the canoe through the ripe stand of grains and another to knock rice into the boat. As I pole us through the shallow water, she uses cedar rice knockers to knock the ripest grains into the canoe. Slowly, over the course of hours, the boat begins filling up with rice.
Can you talk a little bit about its life cycle? For people who are concerned, oh, you're out there taking all this wild rice, understanding a little bit about the plants helps to kind of mitigate those concerns.
This grass is just completely adapted to waterfowl and humans. These grains don't mature all at once. You can see that really easily. Some have already fallen, some come off, and some remain attached. And that is this asynchronous maturation to make sure that they don't all drop at once. That way they can't all be preyed upon at once as well. There are germination inhibitors that mean that this particular grain, it might germinate next year, but many won't for 2, 3, 4, or even 5 years from now. Let's say next year this place flooded out and the whole stand of wild rice was lost. You'll come back the next year and it looks exactly like this.
While Maine undoubtedly had a pre-Columbian wild rice harvest, unlike the Great Lakes region, it doesn't have an intact harvesting tradition, and there's no ethnographic records of who harvested or how it was done. While we've adapted many of the collection methods we've learned from the people who harvest in the Midwest, we're on our own here, developing a new Northeastern tradition of wild ricing.
I'll take that, and you just make sure that doesn't spill out the back there. Perfect. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Baby. Nice job. Good score.
It's the beginning of New Hampshire's bear hunting season, and my dog Ellie is just as excited as I am. She's a plot hound from a long lineage of bear hunting dogs, and today is her first big hunt. I'm headed into the mountains to meet up with some houndsman friends who've driven to the Northeast from Wisconsin. It's been an unusual year, with the trees producing almost no acorns or beech nuts, leaving the bears with little to eat. Normally, we can begin hunting from these all-important food sources, but this year, we'll need a new strategy. We decide to drive the mountain roads, looking for bear sign and watching the dogs to see if they pick up any scent. As the sun comes up, we stop to make a plan, let the dogs stretch their legs, and most importantly, introduce my dog Ellie to his pack.
Stay here. Stay here. Lou?
This is Sam. He represents the new generation of houndsmen. Like those who came before him, his dogs are his life.
They don't even seem to notice her.
Yeah. Come on. Stay.
Though Ellie's from an elite pack of bear dogs, I've raised her at home as a house dog. Today, we're seeing if she has what it takes to run with the pros.
Splits. Good boy.
You got anywhere you want to go to, or should I head over to that spot?
Let's go over to that spot.
As Sam follows me over to a spot where black bears sometimes cross the road, a bear walks right out in front of my truck.
I mean, I was far away, but he looked pretty good. Looked like his belly was hanging.
It was right in here.
Somewhere over here.
This is Ryan. He'll be monitoring the radios and GPSs while we head into the woods. Each dog is outfitted with a GPS collar that allows us to track them on the hunt. The excitement is becoming palpable. These dogs absolutely live for this moment. They're like professional athletes, and this is what they've trained for. They have no problem finding the track.
Am I good to cut her in? Go ahead, Pop.
We cut them loose and watch the GPS, trying to imagine what's unfolding ahead of us.
We're at this blue triangle, and there's the dogs there. It's like they picked up that trail, they did a little circle here, and now they're out there running them. They're proud of my pup right now.
She's going wet. She wants to be a bear dog,
Yeah.
not a house dog. Well, she wants to be
She wants both, dude. I don't think she's gonna separate the two.
From what we're seeing on the GPS, we think the dogs might have treed that bear. But this is as far as the technology can take us. From here, we need to go see for ourselves. Wild rice isn't something you just pick and eat. Just like commercial rice, there's several steps required to turn it into food. The first step is drying, which we do on tarps in the sun. This removes moisture from the rice and chaff, prevents molding, and purges the many insects and arachnids that are still distributed throughout the grains. The next step is parching, which is heating the grains to make the chaff brittle and easier to remove. While you can easily do this on a kitchen stovetop or an outside propane burner, today I'm doing something special, building a fire from scratch and parching the rice outside. First, I gather a tinder bundle, grabbing dry, flammable materials from the landscape. I quickly split some wood and prepare to make a friction fire. This is a hand drill made from horseweed and a hearth of northern white cedar. Both materials have a low ignition temperature, making them ideal for this purpose. Next, I burn this fire down to a coal bed that I can set my parching pan on. We aren't trying to cook this rice, but rather just heat it enough to dry out the chaff, making it easier to separate from the grains. The next step is treading, which I do in a tub I've lined with a heavyweight canvas.
This is what we're actually gonna tread inside of. So I'll put the rice that's been parched right in here, and then I'll tread in there. These are my treading moccasins, and I haven't ever worn them, out and about. They are only for this purpose. So they're completely free of any dirt or grime. If you were going to do this, you could use a regular pair of sneakers or shoes. You just want to make sure that they've never been used for anything else. But I like this kind of even elk leather bottom that it has. Now, this rice is still warm from that parching session. And what's happened is, as it's parched, what we've done is heat that chaff up so that it becomes brittle. And a little bit of grinding motion on it will start to free up that grain of rice, and it'll come free. And I'm going to be trying to get that same motion, but with the balls of my feet, trying to free up the rice and get it separated out.
Treading the rice is like dancing the grains free from the chaff. It takes some time and energy, but slowly the grains begin to reveal themselves.
It's a lot of labor, but it's a really enjoyable way to spend an afternoon.
Next, we winnow the rice, letting the flipping action in the breeze carry the chaff away. This ancestral human technology is just as effective today.
If you look at that now, you can see we still have many grains that need to be separated, but quite a few are now freed up. And so this is looking a lot closer to food.
I'll repeat this process several times, retreading and winnowing the rice until it's fully cleaned. Wild harvested hand-processed rice cooks up as soft as brown rice, but with a more complex flavor profile, making every step of this process worthwhile.
Just as we finish this, I'll lay this out on a tray and pick through any last pieces, but that's essentially done now. So you can see that we've gone from having all that chaff in there to having beautiful grains, beautiful long grains of wild rice.
While we forage for many plant species throughout the year, there's something different about wild rice. It's not just the more specialized equipment or the fact that we harvest together from the canoe. It has to do with the food itself. Unlike so many of the fruits or herbs we gather, rice is a staple food. It's calorically dense, extremely filling, and can be stored for use throughout the winter. This puts it in a different category, making it one of the most important foods we forage each year. We're hiking in after our dogs, which have run ahead on the trail of a black bear. The GPS still shows them as treed, but we won't know for sure until we get there.
I bet that bear took that way.
As we begin the last leg of the hike, I chamber around so I'm prepared for whatever we encounter.
I haven't heard Ben or Blitz. It's weird.
Until we hear the dogs, it's difficult to know what's happening.
Start barking.
Approaching the tree, you never know what to expect. It's different every time. As we get closer, I can see the bear.
There he is.
High up in the tree.
He's coming down.
With our dogs running around, it's important that we not shoot before they're secured. Sam needs to make sure everything goes safely and according to plan. While Sam's rounding up the hounds, the bear quickly descends the tree and the dogs give chase.
Hey! Dan!
Eventually, they get him bayed up just a few yards away.
Whoa! Shoot him right in the head, right now! Good. Ellie! Bill, come on.
They can find a flat
on the
spot.
flat.
I'd like to keep that tarp laid out so we can keep the meat clean.
Yeah.
All right. Wow, it's a heavy bear.
Yeah.
I have a deep reverence for this animal. I don't take a bear's life lightly.
Oh, yeah.
Liver. You did good, Ellie. You did good. It feels good to have this bear, and seeing all this fat means We're gonna have more than enough bear fat to get through the winter, which is really exciting. It's felt really good to see my dog get to be on her first successful hunt. These guys are great. I had a really amazing day, and now it's time to honor this bear by getting it cut up, brought home, and get it on ice.
With the dog secured, Ryan makes his way up to help with the butchering and the pack out. A lot of people question the ethics of hunting bears with dogs, imagining that it gives an unfair advantage to the hunter. Not only do I disagree, since the amount of work that goes into breeding, caring for, and training these dogs is almost incalculable. I live in a region where black bears have exceeded their social carrying capacity, and where the state sees hound hunting as a crucial management tool for the conservation of black bears. I'm also taken by the history of humans and dogs hunting together. In fact, it's the reason we have dogs at all. Dogs are, after all, domesticated gray wolves, and this cooperative hunting relationship is what ultimately led to the pets we have today. When I hunt with dogs, I feel like a participant in that ancient relationship. Thankfully, humans aren't alone in this world. We have a best friend.
Stay here, dogs. We're done hunting.
Where to begin?
Black bear is a very unique game meat. It's different from venison with a more robust flavor that I find somehow reminiscent of beef. I use it throughout the year as braised roasts and in tacos. While it's one of our household favorites, it's the fat of the bear that really inspires me to hunt them. Like a domesticated pig, black bears store huge deposits of fat in preparation for the winter, and it too can be rendered into an oil. You could think of it as a wild lard. In addition to the many lipid calories it offers, it's also the main oil I cook with throughout the year. I trim away any blood, gristle, hair, or meat until I have cubes of very clean fat. Then I use a piece to grease the crock pot before adding the fat and letting the heat separate the proteins from the oil. Over the course of a couple of hours, the fat slowly liquefies. I strain this oil through a filter to remove any particles of protein that remain. As the jars cool, the oil goes from a liquid to a gel. I'll freeze these and use them throughout the year until the next bear season. Stages is one of southern New Hampshire's most celebrated farm-to-table restaurants, and this is its head chef and owner, Evan Hennessy. His restaurant's unique in that it has no gas range. Everything's cooked on induction heat.
Smells good, huh? What's up, Evan?
What's going on, man?
How are ya?
Wonderful. How are you?
Smells good in here, man. We're great.
It's nice to meet you as well. Welcome. Welcome to the world of wonderful smells.
All right.
We brought him the hindquarter of our bear, which he's cooked using the sous vide method.
That just came out of the sous vide and you did that?
Yeah, so I coated it.
Cool.
So this went in 5 o'clock. We're now 25 hours on this. 25 hours at 165, dead on.
There you go. She's been like, he knows about the trichinosis thing, right? Make sure he knows about that.
The bear meat's finished over maple smoke. This gives perfect flavor development and outer crust to meat that was precision cooked in the sous vide water bath.
Man, that's insane. Daniel, smell this. This is up from the stock, from the bones.
Oh my God.
So that was just like a head of garlic. I think I crushed a couple of leeks apart, and then just took a whole juniper branch, berries, needles, everything, and just put it in there.
Evan uses bear fat instead of lard in some delicious, wild-inspired biscuits that'll accompany the rest of our meal. Sam's harvested some wild hazelnuts from Wisconsin, and these get broken up and scattered on some wild American matsutakis, which have been roasted with herbs, garlic, and olive oil. And Evan's made a stock from bear bones that he's used to cook the wild rice.
This is Arthur Haynes. He is my foraging teacher
What's going on,
friend.
man? How are you, Evan?
What's up, man?
Soon, our Wisconsin friends arrive. They've all come straight from the field with no idea of what to expect. I think they're going to be pleasantly surprised to see the dinner that Evan's prepared. None of us have ever had bear prepared with so much attention. As the food starts coming out, we all pitch in to bring it to the table.
I love closed circuit cooking, to be able to sit down with the people that bring the food, that harvest the food, that forage the food, and then for us to sit down with that's a closed circuit. We love closing that gap. In fact, we like taking the gap completely out and doing things like this.
And I just want to say to you guys, like, a lot of hours on those dogs, obviously, on the trip out here. So thank you so much.
The hunters and gatherers.
Yeah, man. This is just exactly what we want in the show, is just to be able to say, like, look, this isn't what you think it is when you think wild foods, you know? I think a lot of the public just is like, oh, so you eat sticks and twigs.
This has been an unforgettable meal for all of us. Friendships have been forged, memories made, and plenty of food has been stored away for the winter. As we tell stories of the hunts we've shared and the gathering we've done to make this meal, we also lay plans for the following year. Soon the weather will change and the season will start its slow slide towards winter. Until then, we take this opportunity to celebrate the bounty of early autumn, the season of wild rice and black bears.